This goes out to all my fellow Americans. We allow this, therefore, we are guilty. I want to start off by saying recently there was a news story from ABC showing a Turkish invasion of Syria after the United States pulled a few troops out of Syria. The footage was very convincing of explosions and tracer rounds flying through the night sky. It was then discovered by conspiracy nuts that this battle was indeed a military exercise called $1 Million Minute in Kentucky. Civilians are even allowed to pay to see the display. President Trump called out the footage in a press conference as completely fake, misleading to the American public, and disgraceful. This fell on deaf ears of the Americans. This isn't the first time Americans have been completely misled by the media. The truth is, we don't know what exactly is real and what is not. It was proven that the vaccination propaganda of the dead measles baby in New York was indeed a purchased stock photo of a man in doctor scrubs holding a baby. The picture was then altered to make the baby appear to have measles, which it did not. In fact, every major news story covered by multiple networks always seems to have multiple problems. This goes for school shootings, diseases, terrorism, and war. I don't think the country has been this divided on issues of political ideas and what is right and wrong since the Civil War. It is my belief that this is all done by design. The problem I have is with the common American people. This goes for the educated as well as the uneducated, rich and poor. I regularly talk with both on these issues and nobody cares. Nobody cares that Jeffrey Epstein seems to have committed suicide with no camera footage. Nobody cares that the media has been proven to fake serious stories on serious issues. They just buy what they are being told. My own brothers get frustrated with me because I see a major problem with this. They are both highly successful and married with 3 kids each. They are happy and love their families. They devote their lives to their wives and kids, so much so that their wives have pulled them away from my family and parents as to control them. My parents are good Christian people with no drama in the least little bit. They stay away from me as much as possible because I've spent years researching and vocalizing the lies, distrust, and direction of the country and the world since 9/11. They claim they don't want to be dragged down by such talk because they just want to enjoy their kids and raise them in their own utopia. I am by no means a depressed and sour loser. I just understand the truth for what it is. A lie to ultimately trap the earth in a web of disparity and destruction to bring in the mark of the beast. My question to my brothers have always been, if you love your kids, aren't you concerned for their future? Why wouldn't you be concerned of the direction of the country? Why wouldn't you be concerned that the media has been making false claims on serious issues that greatly affect us now and in the future? Their answer is nothing, complete silence, because they simply trust the system in which they live because they are successful. We were raised red, white, and blue. They don't want the stress of even looking at any information to the contrary. For years now, every time I send them an article or a video proving something false, they get upset with me. So I've been forced to keep my mouth shut when I see them or speak to them once every couple of years now. I can only talk about sports or their kids. That's it, or they will never speak to me again. Their wives would prefer the latter for both myself as well as my parents. In talking to people at work, co-workers, strangers, and acquaintances at the local bar, or whatever, the largest percentage of people knows more about TV shows, music, and sports than major current and historical events. They may listen to the news for a few minutes, mostly to hear the weather and outcome of a game, than for anything else. They see the political gridlock as business as usual and could care less other than to make a statement such as the Iranians are just a bunch of idiots or Trump is a racist. People work long hours, carry tremendous stress at their jobs, and do not want to be bothered with more stress. So they accept what they are told and support it, even if that means sending little Johnny to Iraq to get his legs blown off or killed because we have to fight terrorism and promote democracy. So nobody cared that Good Morning America glorified a 10-year-old transgender boy strung out on hardcore drugs and slobbered after by gay men. They may have not liked it, but the American public did nothing. The American public doesn't even know or care that our president is telling the public that the media is dishonest. They continue to listen and agree with what they are hearing and watching. Did you ever think that we killed 2 million Iraqi civilians between 2002 and 2009? Men, women, and children. We destroyed their homes and businesses. We took control of their natural resources in the name of fighting terrorism and expanding democracy. Why? Because we were told that this was a good thing to do? Are they not people just like us? Do they not have a right to live in their country their way? Did we actually help or hurt those people? Now how about the people in Syria and Iran? How about this push for vaccinations that are obviously making people sick? How about the push for more and more immigration of other cultures into traditionally Caucasian nations? These cultures now want to dominate these nations as well as America and change the way we live into the way they live. Sure, they are nice people and they're nice to you right now. Of course they are nice to you in small numbers. But how do they act or think in large groups? How do they think of whites when they are the dominating race and culture in particular areas of certain cities? Do you ever think what if you or your child had to visit one of these places for business, such as Mall of America? What would you think if you were at a gas station getting a drink or using the restroom and were all of a sudden attacked by a gang of thugs that hates white people? This happens daily and is not being reported on by our media. The mainstream media does not want the traditional American to think there is a problem. Now the media wants you to think you are the problem and have always been the problem. It's your fault. It's my fault. We should pay for our ancestors' wrongdoings. We have a presidential candidate talking about reparations for slavery. Free money for all blacks from white people. Let's take away our guns to keep us safe. Let's open our borders and let every vote count. Let's do away with the Electoral College because it isn't fair that rural people have a voice. Numbers win. Let your son or daughter date a black person to end racism. Or better yet, be gay and cut their penis off, get breast implants, and take hormones to be a woman. Women are better, stronger, and better suited to run things than men, including the household. Men are not needed as parents. I can go on all day. Now ask yourself this question. What have you, yes you, done about any of this? The answer is nothing. We have done nothing but continue to allow this to happen. We pay our taxes to support this. We literally pay for our own demise. And this makes me sick. So I'm going to tell every single one of you what you are. You're a coward. My brothers are cowards, and nearly all of us are cowards. We have become the weakest and most self-centered people in all of human history. And this isn't just the United States. This is around the world. The tough Australians were among the first to gladly give up their weapons. South Africa has allowed themselves to be robbed and slaughtered. Europe allowed millions upon millions of Muslim refugees into their countries until it is dangerous and unrecognizable anymore. And the United States is unrecognizable as well. I saw a picture of my dad in his second grade class in South Florida in 1959. The class was all white. How many white kids would be in that picture today? All of this is in the book of Revelations. The Father tells John and the seven churches, this is what I have against you. It's your fault because you allowed it. I won't say their name here, but I will ask you a few questions. What group of people has traditionally been despised by Christian and Caucasian leaders for thousands of years? And do you really understand why? What group of people created and has always controlled the entertainment business? What group of people owns all forms of media, news, and entertainment? What group of people pushes for mass immigration of different cultures, races, and religions into traditionally white nations while holding on to their own state just for them? What group of people has the power, money, and influence to make people think and believe what this group wants them to think and believe? What group of people killed Jesus Christ and continues to this day to crucify his name and reject him? What group of people will it be that ushers in the false Messiah? Now ask yourself, should we not be critical of these people at least a little bit? Should we look out for our own more than people that hate us? Do nothing, say nothing, and see how your kids will live 40 years from now. You, sir and ma'am, are guilty. You're guilty, and your children will pay for your sins and the sins that you have allowed to happen. God bless.